1. Hello.
Yeah.
How you darn? I hope you're having a fantastic night, fantastic
How we
day.
feeling?
I hope your day is filled with wonder and joy. Who is this?
Wonder and joy.
Yeah, wonder and joy, joy and
This
wonder.
is
Amen.
still a bit blown out there.
Guys, we officially changed our name today from Fantasyland Dynasty Football to DynastyLand Football. You might have to refresh your browser. Let us know what you think. I think it looks clean. We just wanted the word Dynasty Football to be in our name so people could find us originally. I think now we can rock with DynastyLand Football. I think it looks clean. What's up, everybody? We're doing a what are we doing today? Dynasty rookie draft.
Rookie mock.
Shout out to Jesse who left the super chat to literally start the stream. Jesse dropped the super chat and I can't access it anymore. Yes, is that
Justin,
right?
Justin Stewart's.
I'm sorry. You're right. It was Justin. 2 goats battling it out. Love it. Appreciate the love. Thanks for joining us today. What's up, Gail? What's up, Matthew? What's up, Sam? What's up, Kev? What's up, KJ? Yes, you can join the draft. Let's talk about that. What's up, Shane? What's up, PH? What's up, AK? Daniel says, looking forward to getting my Dynastyland mug. Love to hear that. Sean says, the total times I've searched Dynastyland on Google before becoming regular on here. I'm so happy for the name change. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah. So, hey, KJ had a great question. He says, how can I join the draft? I think, Badake, you're on the phone? Or are you okay?
No, I was okay. I was getting a phone call. I thought it was my Amazon guy saying,
okay.
I got your package, but it's,
no, I just wanted to, I'll normally hand off that little part to you. You're the expert on how people join drafts. So tell us, how can people join today's draft?
Yeah, guys, all you have to do is go in the link in the description below. Join our Discord. Get in our Discord, and it is first come, first serve. If you want to be part of our, you have to go to Dynasty Damn It and go to Dynasty Mock Draft tab, and that's how you're going to be able to enter this mock draft. You see where I said, come through, fam, excited for today. That's exactly where I'll be posting the link, and that's where you can join the mock draft. It is first come, first serve, we like to say every single time. So if you don't get in today, it's okay. We go live every Monday through Thursday, usually at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but maybe we'll change it to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time soon, maybe with some time change. We'll wait and see, but first come, first serve. Link in the description.
So I'm just like waving to people, like with their comments, I'm waving to them. It's good to have everyone. This feels like a good stream already. I like the energy in the chat. Do us a favor, guys. If you have yet to drop a like, go ahead and do so. Drop a like on the stream. If you want to support the show, if you want to support what we do and just help people find Dynastyland football.
Wow.
So
you like that?
I like it. Do you like it?
No.
And also, just so you guys know, we are going to start taking... okay, that's not right.
What'd you do?
I don't know.
That's not right.
Why is it doing that?
That's kind of cool, though.
Does it?
I don't know.
Okay, hold on.
I don't know why it looked like that, but that's cool.
Come on. Okay, that's not right.
Okay.
How do we get this to work properly? Okay, I know how we're gonna have to do this.
We switched a couple settings.
It's annoying, but just give us a second. Hold on.
Yeah, we switched a couple of things yesterday. We were trying to find better ways to present ourselves. So maybe it's switched up all your settings there potentially.
I think you're right. I think it has. Okay, so oh my goodness, this is a mess. Sorry guys, give us 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, as you
Badake,
do that.
fill the time, maybe ask some questions, answer some questions.
No, I'm seeing it, Matt. Yes, that is a JBL speaker behind me. Surprisingly, I got it from family member. He was like, yo, you want this? I was like, I'll take it. It's more like I'm holding on to it because they're moving and they speaker and they just don't want it essentially.
Okay.
What's happening, Nick? What's happening, Matt? What's happening, Jesse? Wow, name change. I just saw that Robbie Anderson changed his name to Chosen Anderson and has to
I did see that.
I did see that. I thought that was so funny, so random in my personal opinion, but it is very interesting. Let's see. A QB got the 101 tonight. We'll see whoever gets the 101. Said Matt, I said I got your package. What's happening, BX? How you feeling? Zach got the wave down. Give a JSN Superflex. I think we'll both go JSN first. But, just kind of skipping through some of these questions here.
Sorry, guys, I'm almost there. This really screwed me over.
It switched everything. No, you're good. Kyle, KJ, hopefully you got into the Discord and you can join.
Okay.
Oh, another thing. One last thing. If you want to join the mock drafts, try to get on your laptop. Try to get on an iPad. Try to get on some sort of computer instead of doing it on your phone, because the response time is significantly quicker for you to get into this mock draft. So just a little pointer, a little heads up there for you guys.
Okay. So we're back on. What I wanted to say was we are going to transition from, we're going to tweet out basically once a week and say, hey, we're doing a trade show. If you want your trades to be considered, comment down below. I did that today. We had a lot of submissions, so that was cool to see. So we're going to do this once a week. If you made a trade, and then we'll have our trade show based off of the trades that get submitted through Twitter. So go ahead and drop me a follow. You can also drop Badake a follow, because we will be going back and forth probably between us. I would suggest to have your notifications on, but that's up to you. And then we also have the DynastyLand football, which we do a lot of retweets on information there. So give us a follow there if you want to be a part of the trade shows here in the future, because those will be happening every single week. So you have a chance to have your trade graded by us every single week. We do have merch. I'll drop that in the link below in case you guys want to have a look at that. And then don't forget about our Patreon. If you want to unlock our rankings, if you want to unlock our rankings, our rookie profiles, dynasty draft guide, essentially, all that is available over on our Patreon, and I will drop that here in the link below. But enough talking. Let's get to the draft. You can go ahead and send that link out now.
Yeah, I'll send the link out here in 3, 2, 1. There it is. First come, first serve. And people should be joining here very, very soon.
Yeah, so that filled up pretty quickly. Hey, we might do a second mock draft. If we get to 110 likes, let's set the like goal at 110 likes. If we get to 110, we will do 2 mock drafts for you guys tonight. So do us a favor. If you have yet to do so, drop a like. Easy way to support the show. And we're going to get some more mock drafts going, and maybe you get a chance to get in. So do us a favor, drop a like. Let's get on the same page here for 1 sec. We're doing a 2023 Dynasty Rookie Draft. Okay, it is Superflex. It is PPR. It is not tight end premium. And we are using the landing spots from this mock draft, which is compliments of NFL.com's Chad Reuter. Hey, Chad. Shout out to you, man. I hope you're doing well, Chad. Let's get some Chads in the chat. Shout out to Chad. What an absolute legend of a man. At number 1, we have the Houston Texans, and they go with Bryce Young. No surprise there.
No surprise.
At number 2, we get CJ Stroud off the board. At number 5, we get Will Levis. Then we have Bijan Robinson to the Eagles at 10, which we like that. Dalton Kincaid. This is always interesting to me. Dalton Kincaid went in the first round, pick 11. Really early, but, I mean, hey, anything's possible. Anthony Richardson to the Jets, which I'm absolutely obsessed with that landing spot. JSN goes to the Packers, which I love how he compliments Christian Watson there. Then we see Michael Mayer to the Lions. Jordan Addison to the Bills. And then we see Jalen Hyatt to the Ravens. And Rashee Rice at the end of round 1 goes to the Bears, which I remember we were like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, but that is crazy.
Let's see if it happens. Luke Musgraves goes to the Texans in the second round, followed by Jahmyr Gibbs to the Raiders, Darnell Washington to the Panthers, Zay Flowers to the Saints, Kayshon Boutte to the Falcons, Quentin Johnston falls to the second round to the Patriots.
Yeah, that's wild.
Which is wild. We're going to use these landing spots, though. Zach Charbonnet goes to the Lions in the second round. Tucker Kraft to the Jags. Tyler Scott to the Giants. Marvin Mims to the Cowboys. This is a fun one. I know some of it's a little wild, but it's a fun one. It's just an exercise.
Something different.
Something different. In the third round, we get Cedric Tillman to the Cardinals.
Tajay to the Saints. Whoa.
Tajay to the Saints in the third.
Okay.
Sam Laporta to the Packers. Rashawn Johnson to the Steelers. Tanner McKee to the Lions. Sean Tucker to the Panthers, which we love. We love to see that. Jaden Reed to the Chiefs. Kenny McIntosh to the Ravens. And everyone else, we're going to assume, went in the 4th round or beyond. So let's go ahead and start this thing off. Take as much time as you want. We will pause at the end of each round and just discuss the picks that were made.
Yeah, no, makes sense. Let's see. Bijan, there he goes.
I mean, if he goes to at 10th overall to the Eagles, it's hard not to draft Bijan there.
No, for sure.
It doesn't matter where he goes. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let me see. Bryce Young and CJ Stroud go off the board. Keep in mind, Bryce Young went to the Texans. CJ went to the Colts. Then Jackson Smith and Jigba off the board. He went to the Packers. I really, really like how he complements Christian Watson there. Jordan Addison at the 105. He went to the Bills at the end of the 1st round. That's a nice landing spot for him, man. Yeah,
we like that. You know, a guy that can also complement Stephon Diggs. They need a wide receiver there. I think that is a perfect fit for Jordan Addison to go. And that's how we envision him, an elite receiver too.
Yeah. So Jahmyr Gibbs goes off the board at the 1-7. So this is, you know, if some crazy landing spots happen, these are the kind of things that you could actually see. So Anthony Richardson goes at the 1-6. He went to the Jets. I love that landing spot. I just love envisioning him there.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely see that.
We see Will Levis go off the board. So I need to decide between, Quentin Johnston. If he goes in the 2nd round, I'm probably still considering him here. But it's a difficult question to answer.
It is a difficult question.
Let me remind myself who went in the 1st round. We did see Kincaid, which no way I'm drafting him here. Jason's gone. We saw Addison. We saw Hyatt, which I don't really want to draft Hyatt. No disrespect. Rashee Rice. I'm not going to draft Rashee Rice here yet, but maybe that's an oversight from me. Jahmyr Gibbs, Darnell Washington. Zay Flowers to the Saints. I like Zay Flowers to the Saints. I like that. I like how that could look. Is it crazy to say I think I'm going to go Charbonnet here?
Zach Charbonnet?
It's kind of who I was thinking in the back of my head this entire time, but I just love how Charbonnet, he steps right into that Jamal Williams role. And this team continues humming along. So I'm going to grab Zach Charbonnet here at the 109. He lands with the Lions. He gets 2nd round capital. So does Quentin Johnston. I'll go Zach Charbonnet there at the 109. I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
That's fair. Switching it up a little bit, changing it up. Will Levis to the Panthers, Charbonnet to, like Zach said, the Lions. Let's see what Buckeye does here.
Yeah. Gonna try to keep up with the chat. Keep in mind, if you do want something, answered straight away or definitely answered a super chat of any amount, we'll definitely get to. We'll try our best though to keep up with the chat. Jordan says QB1 over Bijan. This mock is wild. Who's a dark horse team that you see drafting Bijan? Badake talked about the Panthers a little bit as a dark horse team.
Yeah.
In one of our videos, which was interesting.
Yeah, definitely go check that out. Basically, if we're saying he's the best running back prospect since Saquon Barkley, I think that's wild, personally. But yes, the NFL values running back a little bit differently now. It'll be crazy to see him going at one of those bottom teams. What a steal.
Yeah. Okay, so at the end of the 1st round, we see Johnston at the 110, Michael Mayer at the 111, which he's definitely someone I could have probably considered because he went to the Lions in the first
as well. Yeah, he went to the Lions.
So wow, he gets 1st round draft capital.
They get Mayer and Sharby.
That offense was already fantastic, and now it's probably going to be even better. And then Zay Flowers goes at the 112. I guess the only surprise here is Jahmyr Gibbs falling all the way to the 1-7, but I can understand why people would let him fall when Richardson falls to the perfect spot in my mind and Addison falls to the Bills. So I think that all makes relative sense.
No, it definitely does. It definitely does.
Thanks so much for the sub, Orlando.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right, let's go ahead and start this 2nd round up here.
I got a couple people in mind. Let's see.
Yeah, Packers don't use the 1st on wide receivers. That is true. 1 quarterback mock next. If enough people want, I don't mind doing that.
Kendre Miller.
Okay.
Wow, did he get taken?
No, he was not drafted.
Miller. Okay, Kayshawn Booty.
Yeah,
And
I don't think he was drafted in the first 3 rounds.
That's okay.
Interesting. I don't know. I mean, a little bit early for me. If he's not drafted in the first 3 rounds, and we have all these other running backs on the board that were drafted. I mean, Sean Tucker was there. He got drafted to a very good spot.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going. Actually, he goes Sean Tucker to the Panthers, or is it the 3rd round? Let me just double check.
Yeah, he goes to the Panthers in the 3rd.
In the 3rd round, yeah. So I like this landing spot for Sean Tucker. Comes in, he gets an immediate. We know what that's gonna look like. There's competition there, and he has decent draft capital. I'm doing that every day.
Okay. Your mic is cutting in and out a little bit.
Is it still?
Yeah, just so you know. Yeah.
What's going on here? What's going on here? I don't know.
I don't know. Gotta research and just find out why that might be happening. Yeah, I think, again, I mean, Sean Tucker, we like Sean Tucker. Maybe people don't like Sean Tucker as much. But for him to be drafted in the top 3 rounds, I like Kendre Miller. I do. But he's going to have to get that kind of draft capital for us to consider him all the way at the 201.
Yeah. Let's see what D. Macy does here.
Yeah. Kincaid's jumping Mayer in a lot of mocks. We have definitely seen that. We have definitely seen that. I still think Mayer's going to be the first tight end off the board personally.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think there's a lot of people, multiple tight ends going the first as well. So
yeah, we could see Musgrave there. We could see Kincaid there. It's a good tight end class. We definitely should not be sleeping on this tight end class. No doubt.
Yeah.
Dalton Kincaid goes at the 2-4. I mean, I think that makes sense. I'm not like there's someone in my mind that I'm thinking of, and I'm not going to bring him up because I want to see where he falls to. But
yeah,
Mikey says I have the 110 and the 205. Who should be targeting there? The 110, yeah, I would say Charbonnet, Addison, Johnston, Mayer, depending on who's kind of available. One of those quarterbacks if they're available.
Yep.
And then the 205, I mean, it's way too early to say what the early second round is going to look like. It's going to be very dependent on draft capital. That's who I was thinking of, Rashee Rice. We got a first-round wide receiver who is still available on the board. We actually have another first-round wide receiver who's still on the board, but it's a little bit surprising to see Rashee Rice still available there.
Yeah.
There goes Zachary Evans.
Zach Evans. Jalen Hyatt. That's probably the other wide receiver you're talking. Raven.
Mm-hmm.
In the first. So.
Tyler Scott will go early second, late first in rookie drafts.
People really loving Tyler Scott, man.
Okay.
He went in the second round.
He will not be. I will not draft him there, but to each their own. I definitely would love that if people started doing it. But I mean, no, that's great.
A lot of the community. I mean, not a lot of community. I mean, at least there's a community that's really trying to put respect on Tyler Scott's name. So.
Yeah. For sure.
It is interesting, and what's interesting is that like he's getting drafted to my team. So do I want that?
Right, to the Giants.
Yeah, a lot of mocks. He's going there. So we'll see. Tajay Spears off the board. Now you're on the clock. What are you thinking?
Yeah, that's tough because Tajay was definitely who I was targeting there. Ooh, that makes it a little bit more difficult now. That definitely makes it a little bit more difficult. Let's see. Zay's obviously gone. We didn't see Hutchinson. We don't know what landing spot he's got. Did A-Chain get drafted anywhere?
I don't think he did.
No, I don't think so either. I might I think this might be a little bit of a surprise, but situationally I like it for this running back in particular. Thanks for the sub, Ryan. Appreciate that.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
So when I think about the Baltimore Ravens, we keep saying that they are likely going to draft a running back or at least add someone in free agency because that is such an important part of their offense. And in this mock draft, they draft Kenny McIntosh with pick 100 in the 3rd round. So I'm going to go ahead and grab Kenny McIntosh here at the late 2nd. There's a lot of options I could go there, a lot of players that were available to me, but I like situationally how he could kind of find his way into that rotation.
Okay. Yeah, Kenny, I definitely like Kenny. So definitely interesting scenario for him to land in.
Yeah. Kyle says, I'm terrified Rice will be Treadwell. I don't think that's a crazy comparison. I mean, Rice definitely has a low floor, for sure. He definitely has a low floor, no doubt. Trying to keep up with the chat.
Yeah.
Who do you guys like better, Rashee Rice or Cedric Tillman? Probably Rashee Rice at this point.
I would say Rice as well, yeah. I would say
But let's
Rice.
see what happens at the Combine, because the Combine can definitely change things, no doubt. Sean says, JSN is this year's Garrett Wilson. Could be better depending on landing spot. I do love me some JSN.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Hendon Hooker goes off the board at the 211. Then we see Tyler Scott at the 212. I have no doubts that Tyler Scott is going to run a very, very fast 40-yard dash. I don't think that means I'm going to end up drafting him early 2nd rounds, but anything can happen. I'm not going to sit here and say it's absolutely not possible. So let's see. Combine definitely can change things for a lot of prospects. They can absolutely skyrocket their draft capital, and it can also fall drastically, a la Kyron Williams last year, right?
And then he needs to set himself apart. I mean, how many people are the same size 5 that have a better draft profile?
Sorry, you cut out there.
I said he really needs to set himself apart. 5'11", 185 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, he really needs. And how many people are in this draft that is around that same weight? You know, that same range.
Sure.
5'10", 5'11", 185, 180.
A lot of people with that profile.
A lot of people with that profile that has probably better production. That's on a better team. That's going to have a better draft capital. So he really needs to step up here to really set himself apart.
Yeah, for sure. Shane says, hit that like button. Let's get a second draft. That's right. If we get 110 likes, we will pop off a second mock draft. 118 people watching. So with your help, we can definitely get there. The math check out. So if you want to see a second mock draft, do us a massive favor and drop a like on the stream. Let's get to that like goal together with your help, and we will definitely get a whole new group of people and do another mock draft for you guys.
Yeah.
So Tillman go, then Musgrave go. Musgrave, actually probably a little bit of an oversight from me. He went in the 2nd round to the Texans, and I really like Musgrave and Bryce Young together. You saw Bryce Young use his tight ends a little bit this year, almost out of necessity. Not necessarily like wanting to do that, but almost out of necessity, he kind of had to. So I like that pick in the 3rd round. I think that's a great pick.
Yeah, I'm just looking
ATJ says that was a sneaky little video y'all posted today. I'm watching you guys. I mean, we just gave our honest opinions. So if there's players on that video that we said that we would drop, if you drop them, we're not going to go pick them up. That's just how we feel.
Okay.
Can you project 40 times? I honestly think projecting 40 times is kind of, it's not laughable, but it's like, I just don't think that anyone can do it accurately. You can definitely like guess your best, but it's almost like, hey, we're gonna find out exactly what their 40 times are in a couple weeks. Let's just see what they are. But some people have said Tyler Scott can run, what was it, like under a 4.3, like a 4.28 or something.
Yeah, some people are projecting.
That would be a little bit surprising. I think he is a 4.3 guy for sure, but 4.2s would be pretty crazy. But maybe there are other people out there, Alpha, who have just this eye when they watch film that they can guess that. But I mean, certain guys like A-Chain, you know, like Devin A-Chain, I could definitely see him running low 4.3s. The math is mathin'.
The math is mathin'.
All right, so we see Mims Hutchinson off the board. Jaden Reed. There goes Josh Downs. I was going to say, How is Josh Downs still on the board? I know he wasn't drafted, but still, I mean, I was gonna take Rashawn Johnson here soon. He went to the Steelers, but still, I mean, I feel like you gotta draft. You know, you still have to draft Josh Downs.
Yeah, I mean,
early third at least.
I guess I'm just going with the mock, but yes, I get what you're saying. I definitely would.
Was Marvin drafted?
He was. He went to the Cowboys.
Okay.
Just going based off the draft, going based off of some of these guys.
Okay,
this is a scenario that could, some of these people could fall based off their draft capital, right? You know, not saying I think Josh Downs can go that low, but someone like Tyler Scott, if he goes in the second, we need to reevaluate. If Josh Downs doesn't go in the first or second round, we need to reevaluate. This is something that can happen because Josh Downs, we've only seen him go in the first and the second, rarely in the third. So yes.
Yeah, for sure. What's your go-to Chinese order? For me, it would probably be sweet and sour chicken.
You're on the clock, by the way.
Hey, Jack, thank you so much for joining and becoming a YouTube member. Really appreciate that, man.
We appreciate
you so much.
That's it.
Welcome to the squad, brother. Welcome to the squad.
Got a couple orders. I mean, I don't know if you want to make your pick or...
I'll make my pick just before you go on there. I feel like Tucker Kraft should have been off the board by now. If he actually goes in the second round to the Jags, then you have to assume that they're moving on from Evan Ingram. And we like the player, we like the draft capital, we like the offense, and we like the quarterback. Feels like a dream scenario here at the 309, so I'll grab Tucker Kraft there.
Yeah, that's fair. Give me boneless spare ribs with some pork fried rice.
Okay.
Let me get sweet and sour chicken with some pork fried rice, with an egg roll on the side, maybe.
Yeah. How do we get in on the mock? Join our Discord with the link here. So you can join our Discord there. That's what we'll post the links. By the way, how was Quantum Mania? Yes, we went to see it last week.
It
was okay.
It was good.
It was okay.
It was good.
Like, what's the best way to phrase it? It's not like many Marvel movies, I would say, so far. It's it's definitely like beginning of a different phase, a different era. I don't want to ruin anything. Spy Kids vibes.
I've said this, and I'll say it again. I think it just makes sense in my mind. It's a good setup to what Phase 5 is going to be. It's the introduction of Phase 5 and how far they can take this new world. The movie itself, I enjoyed it. I liked it. And I would just say each to their own.
Sure. Got you, Dynasty Day Trader. Yep, I got Tucker Kraft there. Goes Tank and Izzy off the board. Yeah, we like McGee, Tommy. We like McGee. Yeah. To be honest, he probably should have been drafted by now because I believe he was drafted in the real mock. Am I mistaken by saying that?
Maybe. Tanner.
But if he doesn't go in the first 3 rounds, then you can't really consider him. Oh, he went to the Lions in the 3rd round.
He went to
the Lions. Yeah, he should be considered for sure.
There goes Tanner McGee. Okay. I was considering this guy at the 3-3. He went in the 3rd round. He went to the Green Bay Packers, and that's Sam Laporta here.
Okay.
I'm taking him.
That's your guy.
I think I just love that landing spot. Christian Watson, Sam Laporta, and if I'm not mistaken, who goes to, is it Jordan Addison or JSN goes to the Packers in this one? JSN, yeah. So I like that little set.
Jack, what's up, brother? Thanks for becoming a YouTube member. Appreciate that, man. He says, hey, what's up, guys? A week ago, I traded Drake London and John Mechie for the 105. I also own the 101, 102, 103, 104. Was it a good trade? And would you have... Okay, so this is a good question. Just on John Mechie alone, I don't like... Oh, Tommy, thank you so much for joining as well. Becoming a YouTube member. On John Mechie alone, I don't love throwing him into a deal. That's kind of what it felt like right now. I feel like London and the 105 are very similar in value. So I don't love that we threw John Mechie into the deal. You know, he was drafted in the 2nd round. If Bryce Young comes back, they have chemistry, him and John Mechie. I think he can operate really well out of the slot for that team. So I don't love having John Mechie kind of just as a throw-in piece. But I will say that I currently have JSN as a better prospect than Drake London. Now, we'll have to wait and see if the draft capital is there, if he lands in a good system. But at this very moment, yes, I would prefer JSN over London. It is very close. There's not much difference between them in my rankings. But yeah, I just don't like having John Mechie thrown in there. But the good thing is you have every pick up to the 105, so you're guaranteed to get exactly who you want. So yeah. Dang it.
I get what you're
Sorry,
saying.
that's what I was gonna take.
Wilson or Puka?
Michael Wilson.
Okay.
A lot of hype out of this guy, Michael Wilson. He goes in the 3rd round to the Browns. Oh, I was gonna grab him there. Is Jaden Reed available?
No, he went in the 3rd.
Son of a bitch.
It does get better when you're in the end here in the 4th, but
Tanner McKee's gone.
shoot your shot, you know.
By the way, Coach Tommy, thank you so much for signing up to be a YouTube member, man. Really appreciate that. That's very kind of you.
That's awesome, man. That's really awesome.
All right, I need to look at some options here. It's a little bit bare, so it's probably just going to be me finding a sleeper that I like at this point. I don't like Deuce Vaughn. I could consider Eric Gray here. He feels like, we've talked about this before, one of those names that just could come out of nowhere. Yeah, wait, Eric Gray is getting opportunities.
He's getting opportunities. Yeah, he just has that name. That I don't know.
He's got like the body build as well. I do like Mo though. I do like Mo over Eric. Stetson Bennett. I don't want to draft Deuce Vaughn. I like Rakim Jarrett as well. I haven't drafted Rakim Jarrett before. Let's go Rakim here just for fun, just for the lulz.
Go there, man. Love Mo.
But yeah, Tommy, thank you so much for joining. Did you have any comments on Jake's question, by the way?
No, I would agree. I think I would back you. Be a bit too much, but I don't think it's a point to where it's like you're gonna be really hurt personally. But I do think Drake London for the 105 is even, and then adding John Mechie was a little bit overpaid, but I'm not uncomfortable with doing that either. That's what I would say. Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, we are currently how many likes away from our like goal? We are 7 likes away from a like goal. So if you want to see another mock draft right now happen live, then go ahead and drop a like. We only need 7 likes to get to that like goal, and we'll pop it off for you right now. Drew says, I agree, JSN over London. Zacharias, JJ Zacharias, likes London more as a prospect. Yeah, he does good work for sure. My voice game. AK says, Badake, your mic mutes you a lot, which, yeah, we've talked about that. It is true. It does happen a lot. When you're talking, you might need to check your voice gate. So that might be something. I don't know. Okay. Sidekick says, hey, guys, found your channel a few weeks ago and have been watching every day. Love the videos. Appreciate that, man. That's very kind of you. Okay, we hit the like goal. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for the love. So let's go ahead and pop off another mock draft. And this one, keep in mind, we will do a 1 quarterback mock draft in this one, Badake. It'll be 1 quarterback. It won't be super flex. So, oh my goodness, Jesse, thank you so much, man. Jesse, thank you for the donation. That's very, very kind of you. We appreciate you, man. That's awesome.
Jesse, if you ever have a question that you want to attach to those super chats, let us know, because we always want to give you something back. But thank you for that, man. That's very kind of you. I'm smelling something. I'm smelling someone's baking curry in my house or something, cooking curry. I smell it. It smells good. All right. Wow. Okay, that's tough to smell after not having lunch after it's almost 1 p.m.
Do I sound different in here? Out of curiosity?
Sound kind of similar now.
All right, I turned my noise gate off just completely, and I'm gonna turn it on. Hello.
I would say turn the noise gate off. Maybe that's it.
I'm just gonna turn it off and just see, and then I'll turn it off now to see if that even makes a difference.
Yeah, maybe it is the noise gate that's been holding you back there. All right, I sent you the.
Send me the link. Okay.
I sent you the link. If you guys want to join today or have a chance to join, we can't guarantee anything. Join our Discord with the link in the description. I also put it in the chat. But Badake, go ahead and send that out on the Discord whenever you're ready. AK says, I think I meant noise gate. Your mic.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what
might think your voice is background noise. Okay, gotcha. What's up, Sean? What's up, Shane? Sounds better. Okay, thanks for the one quarterback. Got you. Thoughts on Connor Hayward? I noticed he wasn't in your video. Yeah, we would drop him, to be honest. I mean, it's just a really difficult. It's difficult to see him. Look, agree. If you're in like a 20, 30 bench, I know some people have crazy benches like that, then you can keep him. But in your standard like 12 bench, 4 taxi, start 10 leagues, yeah, you can drop him. What you're smelling, Zach, is me sweating out all these beers and shots from President Day weekend. All right, let's do this. Let's do this.
I'm gonna send this link out right here, guys. Once again, Dynasty Damn It. Or join our Discord, Dynasty Damn It, Dynasty Mock Draft tab. First come, first serve. 3, 2, 1. There it is.
Someone asked, by the way, which was Chris. Chris is awesome. Comments on a lot of our stuff. He asked what we were talking about when we said League Taco. If you guys have never watched the TV show The League, this takes me back decade back, even more, of like watching this because it was just my favorite show when I was younger. It's basically a show on FX about fantasy football. It's about a fantasy football league, and I just thought it was like the coolest show as a kid. So if you've never watched The League, it's definitely, talking about players back in the day, but it's just a funny show. And that's where we get the terminology, the League Taco. The League Taco is basically like the guy just doesn't know what he's doing, right? Well, just kind of like just as having fun, but doesn't really know what he's doing. So, okay, so this is one quarterback. Someone asked if we could change it to a one quarterback setting. They don't really have one. That's the thing. They don't really have a one quarterback setting here for the ADP. We can't change the ADP, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd have to take quarterbacks out completely to change the ADP, which we can't do here. So just keep in mind, guys, it is one quarterback. I'll put it in the chat here as well so people are aware. Okay, Badake already did. That makes sense. Same landing spots as before. So let's go ahead and start this bad boy off.
Okay, let's see. Let me know if I still cut off, by the way. But hopefully that's it. Maybe I need to change my noise gate threshold or whatever.
AK says, I think setting it to Dynasty PPR or half PPR. Oh, you're right. You know what? You're probably right.
Yeah, there it is. I think it's
maybe. I mean, it still has Bryce Young way too high, but okay, let's try that. So there goes Bijan Robinson, Jackson Smith, and Jigba.
Yep. Jahmyr Gibbs.
That's the easy ones. That's the easy ones right there. Just those three, you can draft them back to back to back.
It is.
And now I'm on the board, and I think it's a pretty obvious choice. You guys let me know, but if Jordan Addison is going to the Bills at the end of the first round, I think he complements Stephon Diggs really well. We want him to be in that kind of scenario where he is able to like be this elite complementary wide receiver. It's not to disrespect him. It's just I think that's where he will thrive at his best, a la Devonta Smith. Not the same player, but a similar role. So I'll take Jordan Addison here at the 104, linking up with the Buffalo Bills. That feels really nice there.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, I'm on the clock.
What are you thinking here at the 1-5?
I think I
just while you're thinking, let me actually change this to be one quarterback, just so we can, if we look back at these, because sometimes we use this for videos, these live streams for videos or contexts. So go ahead.
No worries. I have to go on my wide receiver one here, and that's Quentin Johnson. He goes to the Patriots, which I'm not in love with, in the second round.
Yeah, it's tough.
It is tough. I mean,
best player available for you. Yeah, I like it. You got to go with your best player available. It makes sense.
Yeah. There's definitely some other guys I would truly consider, just based off landing spots. So let's see where they go.
Yeah, I just posted the landing spots in the link. It's also in the description. Yeah, so hope that helps.
See what Chase does. He's on the clock here.
Abaki. He says Jason's ceiling is the wide receiver too. Well, you are very biased towards Christian Watson, and we love it. But it's difficult to say that Jason's absolute ceiling is a wide receiver too. But I respect it. I definitely respect it.
Abaki, we do have a
Christian Watson buy or sell coming out soon.
That's right. So,
and I think you're gonna like it.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Zach Charbonnet at the 1-6 going to the Detroit Lions in the second round. This is with the expectation of either Swift or Jamal moving on in some way, some form. Interesting.
Coach Tommy said, I don't like the London Mechie trade only because you have the 101 to 104. Still get your guys. I'm keeping the guaranteed London over the unknown JSN. I can respect it for sure. I can respect it. Abaki, I think in that scenario, both of those players can be very 1A, 1B. But we'll see. So Charbonnet goes, which I think makes a lot of sense here. Man, someone is cooking something that smells fantastic.
Someone's cooking something.
Keyshawn Boutte also goes off the board. There goes Josh Downs at the 1-8. Keep in mind, he wasn't drafted in the first 3 rounds. I think it's difficult to draft Josh Downs over a lot of the other players on the board when he wasn't drafted in the first 3 rounds of the mock that we're using.
Yeah, okay.
AK says, yeah.
No, so I was going to say Keyshawn Boutte was truly a guy I was considering. I like that landing spot. I think he complements well in that offense. Going there.
Where did he go?
He went to the Falcons in the second. 2 picks ahead of Quentin, or a couple picks, maybe 2 or 3 picks ahead of Quentin. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think there's a conversation to be had there personally.
Okay.
If this were to happen, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rashawn Johnson. Well, hold on. Sorry. Yeah. I just realized Rashawn Johnson went in the first round.
And he went to the Steelers in the 3rd.
I like Rashawn Johnson in the 2nd, maybe, but he's definitely not playing ahead of Najee Harris.
No. Jalen.
I just don't think we can take Rashawn Johnson that high. I like the love. I like the respect for the player, but that's a little bit too high. I mean, there's players with better draft capital. I mean, Sean Tucker. I definitely got to take Sean Tucker over Rashawn if he goes to the Panthers. It's such a clear pathway for him to have opportunity there.
Yeah, I mean, based on this mock, Sean Tucker should have went at the 1-8. You know, Josh Downs wasn't drafted. I would have taken Sean Tucker as high as there personally.
I can see that. Mm-hmm. Just our opinion. Doesn't mean we're right or wrong, but just our opinion there. Zach Evans goes off the board.
Okay, so AK said my voice hasn't cut out since I turned that gate off. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe I need to switch the settings because, I try to cut off any background noise. Maybe I need to play with it.
Well, maybe for when we're recording videos that works, but maybe on live streams you turn it off.
Okay, that works.
Okay.
Say Flowers, Rice. By the way, Flowers went to the Saints, right? Rice went to the Bears in the 1st, and now you're on the clock.
I am on the clock here. Deuce, Izzy, Kendre, none of these guys went in the first 3 rounds. A-Chain, Tank, none of these guys went in the first 3 rounds. Tajay Spears could be interesting here. He could be the play. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anyone. Xavier Hutchinson didn't go in the first 3 rounds. Oh, wait a second.
Please no.
Hard not to draft Dalton Kincaid here.
Shit to me, man.
First round pick with the 11th overall pick to the Titans. Yeah, I got to take Dalton Kincaid there. You got to imagine he's a critical part of their offense from day one. Yeah. Probably complementing Treylon Burks. I imagine they might put Dalton Kincaid a little bit in the slot. I mean, he played a little bit of slot in college at Utah. I can actually find the exact numbers for you guys here in 1 second, but he's not a player that he's not one of those tight ends that you expect to be a crucial part of their blocking game. He's not an awful blocker. That's not what I'm saying, but he's not going to be this traditional inline tight end. He's much more of a receiving threat than someone who's going to play inline. But this last year, let me just make sure I get this right. He played 55.1% in the slot. He played almost 10% out wide, and he played just 35% in line. So he is not a player that they expect, or that I would expect them to use traditionally, which is exciting. Like, we like the thought of Dalton Kincaid being used in that fashion. So
yeah, I was definitely gonna take Dalton there. Just, I don't know, for some reason I thought you wouldn't go running back. I'm adamant on sometimes not taking, going with those positional players, even though Dalton Kincaid is part of that, but I just thought you would go a different route. But the first round draft capital, I think that's what sways,
Sure.
Definitely a big
hard
thing.
To pass that up. I mean, he's the 11th overall drafted player, and I get him here at the 2-4 with 15th, 16th overall player drafted.
Yeah.
So Bryce Young go, and then CJ Stroud. This is one quarterback, but this is kind of where we start to see people consider it.
Yeah.
I'll just say this, and I've said it in a video before, but if I'm in a one quarterback league, I think it's much, much easier for me to find a good starting quarterback. It's much easier to trade for them. They don't hold as much value. So in a rookie draft, if I'm going to draft a quarterback, I'm shooting for the absolute ceiling, and I am okay with as much risk at the 2-6 as possible. For me, my first quarterback off the board in a one quarterback format would be Anthony Richardson. If I want to shoot for the absolute ceiling, I want potentially like a Justin Fields type player, someone who could have 1,000 rushing yards in a single season. For me, I would have gone Anthony Richardson there. Again, there's less risk because you can easily fill your quarterback position. And Anthony Richardson falls to the Jets, who, yes, the offensive line needs improvement, but they have proven to be a very good rushing team. Anthony Richardson, Breece Hall, that is one hell of a combo. And if he starts every game as a rookie, which if you draft him with the 13th overall pick, why wouldn't you? The Jets, why wouldn't you start him? He probably has at least 800 rushing yards as a rookie if he starts every game. So I just think you shoot for that absolute ceiling, and you're much more okay if you miss. That risk, it doesn't matter as much because you can. 32 teams, 32 starting quarterbacks, and in this format, you only have 12 quarterbacks who are starting. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think we see that differently, and we said that in the video. Yeah, and I know you would go Anthony Richardson, but I think I would. I don't know. I don't know how to explain myself in this scenario. I just would rather have the guy I trust in more, in who I believe has just as high of a ceiling, maybe not in the rushing aspect, but in a overall fantasy points aspect. Because, I'm trying to find the right words. Before I go more in depth into this conversation. But
I just think
I'm really happy
if you're drafting Anthony Richardson, your ceiling, your absolute ceiling, you're looking at like a Cam Newton, you're looking at a Justin Fields type player. Like, that is one of the best fantasy quarterbacks you can possibly have. Mm-hmm. If you're drafting Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, we've talked about this before. CJ Stroud, like, if you want to give a very realistic comp, it's kind of like Jared Goff. The absolute ceiling, Joe Burrow, but more likely somewhere in between there. I just feel like I would much rather have a Justin Fields, a Cam Newton caliber of player. And if he's drafted with the 12th overall pick, 13th overall pick, he's going to start day one. And he's going to get an opportunity to kind of improve over the next couple of years. He will have a long leash. So I like the weapons around him. He gets Garrett Wilson. He gets Elijah Moore. He gets Breece Hall. I don't know. I feel like I'll shoot for the stars. And then if it doesn't work out, fine. I'll go trade for like a Kirk Cousins or something, What am I doing here? I kind of talked all the way through, but I'll take Devin A-Chain.
No, that's fair. I'll take Izzy here. The thing is, like, not saying those guys that we praise, whether the Justin Fields, the Cam Newtons, those guys, we lean more on the rushing upside more than we lean on the actual overall quarterback play. And it's hard because Cam Newton was a good quarterback play and a rushing quarterback. Justin Fields. I mean, I'm not saying
I don't think Cam Newton has anywhere near the arm talent that Anthony Richardson does.
Right. I mean, I'm just saying an overall prospect, but like,
he's a better prospect for sure.
I think if you're saying, would I rather have CJ Stroud with the high upside of a Joe Burrow than Anthony Richardson and a Cam Newton? In my perspective, right now, I feel really confident in taking Joe Burrow. Which that's where we would.
You're not going to get anything on the ground from CJ Stroud, so you better hope he becomes Joe Burrow, because otherwise you just drafted Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, and same thing. And otherwise, I drafted Anthony Richardson. That's probably not even going to have a starting job. Right?
You feel that way. If he's drafted with a 13th overall pick.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, why would I draft somebody that could either shoot for the ceilings, which you're right, or I can have a good steady guy that at least I have another quarterback.
Would you rather have had Zach Wilson or Justin Fields in the 2021 draft? Well, it's easy to say now, right? But
yeah, I mean that is easy to say now, but I know right now. I mean, I think that's kind of. I don't know if that's a even. I'm trying to think of other players. Like, I was looking back like 2022. Like, okay, Joe Burrow was number 1 overall, and then Justin Herbert. I mean, they both kind of had some sort of rushing like similarities, but like I wonder what I would be thinking at the 2021 rookie draft. Like, am I taking Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert? And if I look at the stats, I don't have it in front of me, but if I look at the stats and say, okay, who has a higher rushing upside, maybe that answer is wrong
that's
right now.
Very different, because those two players are very similar, and they are nowhere near the rushers that Anthony Richardson is. I don't think that's a very good comparison.
I
mean, like, same people who didn't draft Lamar Jackson a while back. Lamar Jackson, what was the conversation when he was drafted by the Ravens?
I'm just trying
to find. He came in his rookie season. He played a little bit. Even as a prospect, everyone said Lamar Jackson cannot throw. He cannot throw at all whatsoever. Didn't have good completion percentage in college. I think he completed like 59% of his passes. So, but what helped Lamar Jackson as a rookie when he entered that offense? The game plan was completely based around him as a rusher. And we know rushing quarterbacks, they are very successful. Everyone's going to look at Justin Fields' season last year. If you're looking at it from an NFL perspective, you're thinking, oh, there's a lot of improvement that can happen here. But us as people who had him on the fantasy team were like, he was incredible. Like, he was, like, at a time there wasn't a quarterback I wanted more for a stretch. So it's easier to game plan around Anthony Richardson, I think, and allow that part of his game to develop through the air when you have such an elite trait as a rusher. So I don't know. And I just think rushing quarterbacks, typically, they find more success to start their careers unless you just absolutely have it from day one. There's risk either way, but here's what I would go back to. If every single one of these quarterbacks hit their absolute ceiling, who do you think is the best player? Who's the best quarterback out of those 4? If every single one of them hit their ceiling, for me, that's Anthony Richardson. If you guys don't think that way, then don't draft Anthony Richardson in one quarterback format first.
Right.
But that's the way I view it.
I guess in the one quarterback perspective, and once again, it's really hard for me to form my words in this scenario, but the best way I can see it is that if Anthony Richardson, I mean, it's still difficult. Like,
if both players reach their absolute ceiling, who do you want?
We're basically saying no, because I think like it's not even about like absolute ceiling. Let's compare ceiling. So you're saying Anthony Richardson, you say hypothetically is Cam Newton, and Bryce Young or CJ is Joe Burrow. Right now, I would say I would rather have Joe Burrow, and you would say you would rather
not when Cam Newton was in his MVP season.
Sure,
you would prefer Cam Newton.
I mean, I would want Joe Burrow in his MVP season. He hasn't won the MVP, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's still happening, right? And then the absolute floor is Anthony Richardson, who, in my eyes, I don't think is gonna. The floor is like
their floor is what?
Like, his floor is completely nothing, in my opinion. Anthony Richardson, like,
okay,
not a starting quarterback. And then Bryce Young or CJ Stroud's floor would be, like we said, the Jared Goff, which is still a decent quarterback in the NFL.
Sure,
So
but
like the safety.
I'm drafting at the 2-6 here. I do not care about risk anymore. I can go get a Daniel Jones in a one quarterback format, a Tua, a Kirk Cousins, a Russell Wilson, a Jared Goff. I can go trade for those guys very easily. You know, at the 2-6, why do I worry about risk anymore?
But my thing is, like, I think these guys' starting point is where they're at, where all those players are at right now. But like, we're not seeing it that way. Like, I'm saying, like, okay, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are going to come in and have those floors of the Daniel Jones, of the Kirk Cousins, of that group that we're talking about. And I'm saying that's where they're starting. That's how I feel like they're starting, and they can go even higher.
Their floor is still not being a starting quarterback in the NFL. It's unrealistic to say that Bryce Young, as much as I love him, and CJ Stroud, it's unrealistic to say they're just gonna be successful. That's just gonna happen. The reality is every quarterback ever drafted, their floor is not being a starter in the NFL.
Yeah, I think that's a fair conversation for sure. Yeah, it's just really tough for me to. You're right. Not every quarterback is guaranteed that job, but what I do know, if you're going to be taken in the top, and we have seen people that have been taken in the top 10 that have been successful after their first year, and other teams have moved on from them. But I think these two guys specifically, in Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, who we are kind of talking about, I feel really confident right now that they are going to be the starting quarterbacks for their team in the next 4 years, where I don't feel the same way with Anthony Richardson, even though his ceiling.
How can we say that though?
We can't, but
without seeing them in the NFL for one snap.
How can we say, you know, Anthony Richardson is going to be just as good at these as what we're saying?
No one said that. No one said that they're going to be just as good as Bryce Young.
No,
what did I say? My conversation is completely based around their ceiling.
Right. Okay.
I never once said that they have a safe floor like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. I don't think that's ever been the conversation.
And the ceiling is so I'm saying my ceiling, in my opinion, is just as high for Bryce Young, and CJ Stroud is just as high as Anthony Richardson in your eyes. But the floor is what I do not want any part of. And I think the floor for Bryce Young and CJ Stroud is significantly safer. That's why I would rather draft either one of those two quarterbacks over Anthony Richardson.
Okay. Maybe I mean, you do you. I want to shoot for the stars. If you want to, I mean, you got to do you.
I guess
so you think that Bryce Young and CJ Stroud have as high of a ceiling as Anthony Richardson and Will Levis?
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
I think Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, yes, I do. I do believe so. I think they have just as high of a ceiling. So that's why I'm saying shoot for the stars. I'm like, how are we not shooting for the stars with Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, where we're saying that these guys are probably, or I guess in the fantasy community, Bryce Young specifically, people are already saying, well, he has the ability and the elusiveness to get out of the pocket like Patrick Mahomes, and he has the arm accuracy and the arm talent as.
But you and I aren't saying that.
No, I know we're not saying that, and I'm not putting words in your mouth. But if the community in the NFL is seeing Bryce Young in this way, and Anthony Richardson is just a guy that can run the ball and has a really strong arm, I'm going with the more complete quarterback every single day who has the same amount of ceiling than Anthony Richardson.
Then you in this conversation, you would have drafted Baker Mayfield over Josh Allen.
Yeah, and
in that draft. And it wouldn't have looked good.
Yeah, but no one would have known that Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen would have been the guy. Like, Josh Allen was nowhere near the conversation of where Baker Mayfield was and had success in college. Right?
Sure, same thing with but Anthony think about Richardson. It from this perspective. What is the percentage chance that an NFL franchise gets a player like Joe Burrow? What is the percentage chance that in the next 5 years, a NFL franchise drafts a Joe Burrow equivalent?
Right.
We think that's the ceiling, but we don't know that is going to happen.
Right.
And what I'm saying is, I feel like if all these players absolutely reach their ceiling, reach their peak, to me, I think Anthony Richardson is the best of those players for fantasy football. And Anthony Richardson is very unique in the sense that not only is he a elite rushing prospect, he also has the traits like Will Levis to be very good in the pocket and has a fantastic arm. We're not talking about Lamar Jackson, who people had questions about his arm strength, or Jalen Hurts, people had questions about his arm strength. Anthony Richardson is right up there with Will Levis as one of the strongest arms in the class, right? So to me, if everyone reaches their ceiling, I think Anthony Richardson is truly like a Josh Allen type prospect. Now, that floor is very low, and I will look at that risk much differently, and I will value it. I'll value players differently in a super flex format because I have much more on the line. There's much more risk. I need 2 quarterback pillars to really try and go out and win a championship, right? In a 1 quarterback format, 1 quarterback is starting for my team. Honestly, bench quarterbacks, they have value, but what do they really mean? If I have a Lamar Jackson, for example, or let's even say I have a Dak Prescott, right? I'm okay at quarterback. I'm okay. And if I have a good quarterback on my bench, I'd be happy to trade these guys away because I don't need quarterbacks. It's not valued the same way. So for me, again, if everyone reaches their ceiling, I want that guy who can be the Justin Fields, who can be the Lamar Jackson, who can have this crazy ceiling through the ground, which will give him fantasy points. And then whatever I get through the air is almost just extra. So if he develops through the air, guess what? He was drafted in this scenario as the 13th overall pick. He's going to have a chance to develop in a very good offense with very good young players. So for me, I just see it differently. And I understand where you're coming from. I just don't think I view Bryce Young and CJ Stroud with the same ceiling that you do, maybe. I like these players. I love them. But I would say Bryce Young, CJ Stroud do not have a higher ceiling for fantasy purposes. And maybe that's important to put in there. For fantasy purposes, I don't think they have the same ceiling that Anthony Richardson and Will Levis does. Right. Now, Anthony Richardson and Will Levis bust rate is way higher than those 2 players, right? I would say Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, their bust rate, you could probably put at 60%. 60%, right? But there's a higher chance that Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are good quarterbacks and not superstars. There's a higher chance that they are good quarterbacks because we see this year after year after year. We like them. We think they can be superstars. But in a fantasy perspective, I am taking the guy who can absolutely reach the stars. So just a difference of opinion. That's fine. Yeah. But Joe Burrow, the problem with comparing Joe Burrow to CJ Stroud is Joe Burrow is so unique. He is like the less than 1%, but I don't know.
I definitely get that. And I think, I guess to sum it up, my thought process is like, okay, I understood everything you just said. So Anthony Richardson or CJ Stroud and Bryce Young floor compared to Anthony Richardson is significantly safer, which I agree with you. But when I'm looking, if I'm still reaching for the stars, and I believe in the CJ and the Bryce that can hit the same amount of superstar caliber talent, or whether that's in the NFL or in a fantasy perspective, I think that is just as equivalent as Anthony Richardson. So I'm not discrediting Anthony Richardson and how big of a star he could be. I don't want to take the risk on how much of the floor he has. And I think that would be the argument for anyone that's saying, okay, well, I'm going to shoot for the stars. But why still shoot for the stars with CJ and Bryce and still have a safe floor, right? And I think that is my argument. Like, I'm just trying to, you could have the Daniel Jones, you could have the Kirk Cousins, you could have the Jared Goffs with the CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, or you can have the Zach Wilson with Anthony Richardson, or the Malik Willises with Anthony Richardson, where just like you just wasted a second round pick, where you can still flip the CJ Stroud with the Jared Goff floor. You can still flip the Bryce Young with the whoever floor, right?
That's just not true though in a 1 quarterback format.
People
don't value quarterbacks. Think about the 1 quarterback format we play in redraft. No one is trading value for quarterbacks. They don't care. They got one that they can work with.
For sure.
And that's fine. Unless it's Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, right? And think about it from this perspective. I know like the conversation's like, well, maybe Anthony Richardson isn't even a starter in the NFL. You and I think it's ridiculous how people are talking about Justin Fields right now. No weapons to work with, right? But let's say Anthony Richardson had the same type of season that Justin Fields just had. Is the NFL saying, are people from an NFL perspective saying, this is an NFL quarterback? That's fine. Right? Because we like him for fantasy football, and there's a chance that he can develop because of what he can do on the ground, because of that rushing upside that's already there. So,
yeah. No, I mean,
I think Anthony Richardson is just very, very unique because typically, like, think about this. With Jalen Hurts, we saw the rushing upside. With Lamar Jackson, we saw the rushing upside. But we did not see a pathway for them to age well. Now, that was originally, and that's changed.
No, she found some chips, by the way. She just went to Kohl's and got some chips.
Love that.
There's a shortage of frozen potato chips here, guys. Anyways, that's a side note. Continue.
Yeah. I don't even know what I was saying anymore.
No, I get it. I get what you're saying. I 100% see your thought process. I think if I'm going to be taking a shot in the second round, I still want a safe floor quarterback, and I think that would be my summary. Shoot for the stars. Shoot for the stars. But then...
hold on. Let's think about it this way, right? Mm-hmm. Let's look at let's look at you and I's top 12 rankings. Let me ask you this question, because maybe this will bring a different perspective. Okay, I'm looking at my top 12 rankings right now. Badake, if you have Dak Prescott right now on your team and a one quarterback, that's like one of the lowest you can get. Let's just say you have a middle, because you're in a 12-man format. Let's say you have Trevor Lawrence, my quarterback 6.
So I have.
Or
Trevor
pick one
Lawrence.
in your top. Pick one in your top 12. Let's say you have Trevor Lawrence.
I'll take Trevor Lawrence.
Do you? Yeah, no, that's great. You have him, but if you're entering a rookie draft and you're in a one quarterback format, you really gonna draft C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young instead of Anthony Richardson?
I'm not. I don't have to worry about a quarterback because I'm like in that scenario. If that's
exactly, there's no risk.
That's the top tiers. But if I have someone like a Kenny Pickett.
Okay, put Dak Prescott in there.
Dak Prescott, I'm still going CJ and Bryce because I would have them higher. You know, I think it's the middle tier because I know, and that's the argument. Okay, I think it's the top tier guys from I think 1 to 7 or 1 to 8, right? Josh Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, Hurts, Herbert, Jackson, Lawrence, Fields. Cool. You have those guys. Don't worry about a quarterback. Forget about it. Maybe you could throw Kyler in there. Deshaun. Don't worry about it. But when you get to the bottom tier, and I'm still looking for upside, if I have a Daniel Jones, I like Daniel Jones. He had one good year, but I think CJ Stroud has a higher ceiling, or Bryce Young has a higher ceiling. Even Anthony Richardson has a higher ceiling, so I would consider him in that way. Russell Wilson, Jared Goff, and I think that's what I think is the misconception of one quarterback. Is like if I have those 8 elite guys or 10 elite guys, I don't care about the quarterback. But if I have a Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Mac Jones, and Aaron Rodgers, an aging quarterback, and Matthew Stafford, I'm going with the CJ Strouds, with the Bryce Youngs, because I believe that they're going to be the quarterback of the future, not with the Anthony Richardson, where I'm shooting with the ceiling, hoping that he's going to be the quarterback of the future, hoping he's going to have the opportunity. I think that's the difference in my perspective.
Yeah. We see it differently, because if I have Dak Prescott and I'm entering a draft and I'm at the 2-6 and I can choose between Anthony Richardson, I can have any quarterback I want, then I'm taking Anthony Richardson because I already have a safe play. I know he's going to be there for a while, and I'm shooting for the absolute ceiling. I'm shooting for the absolute moon there. Meanwhile, there's probably not a positional player on the board that has a higher ceiling than Anthony Richardson there. If all these players reach their ceiling, no one from the 2-6 onwards has a higher ceiling than Anthony Richardson. Right. So he is the upper echelon of what could potentially happen. Now, again, keep in mind, I am saying over and over and over, there's a higher % chance that Richardson and Levis bust than they reach their ceiling. But I just don't view the risk the same in a one quarterback format.
Right.
And this is why we like Superflex, because Superflex puts value on quarterbacks, which is, in our opinion, the most important position in the National Football League.
Completely agree.
But it's just a difference of philosophy. And maybe you and I have different ideas of like tippy top ceilings for those players. But I would say I'm not thinking right now of my mind from an NFL GM's perspective. I'm thinking of a fantasy football owner.
No, I get it.
And I would rather have Justin Fields, right? A potential Justin Fields on my team. So anyway,
hold on. Let me just think of one more scenario. Sorry, just one more scenario. And I think this is where I'm coming from, because we were so in question of Trey Lance, and Trey Lance was supposed to be the starter and he was going to be the ceiling. But we knew what Kenny Pickett, that even though he didn't get the day one job, that he was going to be the franchise quarterback of this organization. So somebody that didn't, at least that's the belief. Maybe this is a bad scenario now thinking about it.
That's a really difficult one to assess, because how are you supposed to assess Trey Lance's season?
That's what I'm saying.
He had one game in a monsoon and then he got injured.
No, and I think
so.
It is a bad scenario. So just scrap that. But
I don't think we can really say Trey Lance has failed. He's not had a chance.
He hasn't.
Really.
Yeah, for sure. But yes, I agree.
But in that scenario, I'm definitely taking Trey Lance over Kenny Pickett.
Right. I would agree there. I guess on my side, if I have a top 10, top 8 quarterback and all those quarterbacks that I named, I'm setting and forgetting in a 1 quarterback league. But if I have anyone below that I believe CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, or even Anthony Richardson, ceiling could be potentially higher, I am going that way. But if I have one of these older quarterbacks that are probably like if I had a Tom Brady, let me ask you this. Last year, if Anthony Richardson was in this draft, the draft before, and Tom Brady was shaky on, okay, I don't know if he's going to retire.
OG Cheese.
Thank you. You're probably in the fence. I don't know if he's going to retire. I don't know what's going to happen. Are you going Anthony Richardson or CJ Stroud or Anthony Richardson or Bryce? Sorry, Bryce
Anthony
Young
Richardson.
or CJ Stroud. You still go
Anthony Richardson, because guess what? If I don't hit, I can still trade for a quarterback extremely easier. Think about this. These are the best quarterbacks in this year's draft, and you're taking them at the 206. I can use my draft capital to get a starting quarterback. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. That I understand, but I don't think. Yeah, sure.
I can. You and I have Bryce Young and CJ Stroud ranked very closely to Dak Prescott. Okay, if I miss on Anthony Richardson, I'll go send a mid-second for Dak Prescott, and that's fine because I'm probably not getting a player in the mid-second who has a higher ceiling, and I'll fix that. Fix that problem there. Yeah. I feel like it's just much easier to come up with solutions for your quarterbacks in a 1 quarterback format.
Yeah, no, I get you. Good debate. Agree, disagree, and we'll see what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen with some of these guys.
We've got better at debating because remember the Kyler Murray debate?
Yeah, he's just shit, really.
Yeah, I was like, why do you not like him? He's like, I just don't like him.
I just don't like him.
Oh my gosh.
Period. I don't need to have a reason. I don't like him. Do you like hot sauce? Why? I just don't like hot sauce. You know?
Yeah, that's a good debate. I think I won. No, I'm just kidding. I think we just see it a little bit differently. But again, I just think you assess risk differently when the format changes.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But yeah. So that's probably it for today, guys. Thanks for joining us.
We did have a super chat by Badake before we leave.
Yes.
I don't know if we should address that and then we can go just so he's not left in the dust there. 1 quarterback, you shoot your shot for the upside. You shoot for upside because chances are you have a solid starting quarterback already in Superflex. You need a quarterback with a high floor. Fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I kind of agree as well. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Sean says took Mahomes in the 1-on-1 of a 32-man league. Any advice? Good luck
for a league this big.
Good luck. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, sheesh.
But anyway, guys, I think that's probably it for today. Thanks for joining us. That was fun.
I'm
do us a favor.
All the comments.
Yeah, drop a like on your way out. I mean, we have those. I feel like every couple weeks we have a debate like that. That just kind of happens naturally. Where we disagree on something.
No, it's good.
I can't remember what the recent ones were, but anyway, it's all love. We don't really care. At the end of the day, Badake and I are going to get off this call and probably talk about something else,
probably.
Play Call of Duty or something. But anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Do us a favor, drop a like on your way out. Friendly reminder, give us a follow on Twitter, guys. A lot more stuff is going to be happening on Twitter this year. If you want to have your trades considered for our shows in the future, we have a Dynasty trade show. So if you want your trades to be considered, we're going to start doing that kind of stuff on Twitter. We would suggest to turn notifications on.
Yeah.
You make the decision if you do want to turn notifications on. So you can give us a follow. That's mine. Here is Badake's. Make sure you give both of us a follow, and then the DynastyLand account as well, where we kind of tweet out information and retweet ourselves at times. So give us a follow there. We also have merch that just released a couple weeks ago. Have really enjoyed the feedback so far. It's been really cool to see. excited about this merch, excited to get our own merch. You guys are getting it before us.
Yeah.
Which we want to see it. And then our Patreon. Don't forget our Patreon if you want our Dynasty draft guide, if you want our rankings, all of the above. And then lastly, if you want to play on Underdog, use our link, which I'll paste there. If you ever want to think about signing up to Underdog, you can use our link. It's in the description below, but the code is LAND, LAND.
That's right.
And you'll get your deposit matched up to $100, 100 buckaroos.
$100.
But that's probably it for today.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys.
Yeah, appreciate y'all. We will talk to you guys very, very soon, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Love.